why we're looking at this for cold spots. So you should be able to see me in there. Yep. Red, orange, and yellow guy. Sorry, gents, but that means I'm the hottest thing inside the frame. Yeah, I know, right? So you got to see me with some bridal parties. That shit slays. But anyway, so we're looking for the cold spots. They're going to be blue and black. We're always going to have blue and black, especially on a cold night like this. The glass, windshield, aluminum cans, signs, they're all going to be like blue or black, just depending on what else is inside the frame. I'm looking for blue and black areas to move or to take shape. When I say take shape, I want a head, shoulders, moving arms, and legs. That's what we've caught with this guy in the past. That's hopefully what we'll capture with it again. Now, I love to give you stats about my equipment because most of you show up and think you're on TV and you're on Ghost Adventures. This thing will capture about 4 to 5 pieces per year that I would put my stamp of approval on, not 4 to 5 pieces per episode. Again, yeah, not a TV show host, not a YouTuber. I also have this guy set up with a red dot and a blue dot. They're showing you the hottest and coldest spots in the frame at that particular moment. I'm looking for 15 plus degree temperature drops.
We have hand warmers.
Oh, perfect.
All over, so
good. You should. My gloves are heated, so
Uh-huh.
those will be warm too. But anyways, so the cold spots, I'm looking for 15 plus degree temperature drops. We're about 42 degrees out here ambient. That means I'm looking for 27 degrees and colder. So again, I want that cold spot to move as well in the event that we don't get a full blue apparition moving towards us. So that's basically how this camera is going to work. We will swap this guy out halfway through our night, so we can use it. We're lucky enough that there's only one vehicle in here. Welcome to a smelly parking lot with a dumpster in the corner. How great is this, right?
This is fantastic.
I know, right? So I told you guys I'd take you guys to weird spots. Communicators. This is the location where I actually start withholding information on purpose. So I'm not going to give you questions here like what color was George Washington's white horse, like what we did over there at the big red barn. The layout of what we're going to be doing here is I'm going to give you the history of the space, and then we're going to spread out.
Okay.
And then I'm going to basically do round robins with all of you and take a bunch of notes to see what's going on with your equipment. And then I'll regroup you to give you all the answers, to show you how it all pieced together if we have anything going on at all. You're a traveler? Is there anything in between journalist and traveler?
Afraid. But that started over there.
All right, so this used to be the Charles and Eliza Pinckney Mansion. Their mansion sat in the front of the space facing East Bay Street, and Eliza's garden was lined up with that restaurant over there and came all the way across, and then the servant and slave quarters were in the back of the space. That's the layout of the land. So, who the hell were Charles and Eliza Pinckney? They had a son named Charles. They had a nephew named Charles. That's 3 different Chucks, in case you weren't paying attention. So that's also the reason why we look for secondary clues. In the event you hear the name Charles, I need to know which one it is so I know how to address them. If all 3 of us fellas were all named Nick, we're all 3 different guys. That's kind of how this goes. But the son and the nephew were signers of the Constitution for South Carolina. Big deal for us, but I hate politics. We're going to move on. If I don't give them that recognition, they'll do it for me in a very nasty manner coming through a spirit box. So I just make sure I give it to them, and they don't use radio chatter. It's their voices. I have plenty of them. So I just make sure I give it to them. Moving on. Eliza, that's who we're going to be discussing. Much better story in my book. Eliza married Charles at a young age according to today's standards. I said it slowly like that because if you're going to ask her how old she was, don't expect numbers from the colonial times of when girls got married at like 12 and 14. Okay. Think of today's standards because the husband was over doubled her age. So kind of a weird age gap back then. I'm just going to point that out. So moving on. She married him because her father was over in England and dad thought he was dying over there. And he's trying to bring all of his kids home one last time, and Eliza didn't believe he was dying. So instead she stayed put right here and got married. It's 1744. You don't get married in that year to earn a green card. We're not a country yet. There's no such thing. She married him out of love. There's nothing horrific about this location. This is a true love story. It's a place of respect. You'll see that here why in just a moment. But anyway, she was correct. Dad didn't die. He starts sending her gifts from England to where you're standing. And one of those gifts happened to be the plant seeds of indigo. That's a plant, makes blue dye, makes your blue jeans blue. That's what we use it for now. You guys are wearing it, that's because that's what we use it for. When she got those seeds though, no idea what to do with it. She had to learn from the servants and slaves how to keep it going. It's obviously not warm here all the time. Then she had to learn how to make the dye, moved it to a cash crop, got a hold of Dad, told him that the rice plantations were going downhill, they're gonna make a killing with the indigo. And now we have an international businesswoman during colonial times, something absolutely unheard of. So that's the boring business stuff of Eliza. I've seen you stifling a few yawns. I'm glad we got past it.
Mention that
on the boat, I think. We did go to Fort Sumter today.
Okay.
We took the boat to
They
Fort
talked
Sumter.
about Eliza on the boat?
Not
No,
Eliza,
indigo.
but
The
indigo.
indigo.
They
Oh, okay.
talked about indigo.
Well, they should have
Yeah.
brought up Eliza if that was Never mind.
I
Sorry.
was half asleep.
He really was. That's all right.
So here's how this is going to work. For the 2 communication devices, I'm going to assign you guys questions. Keep in mind that those answers can go anywhere. You ask a question, she might get the answer, or the answer might come to one of our audio pieces.
Okay.
So that's how this goes. That's why even if there was just 2 of you here, we would still be using basically the same equipment. I would just have their stuff in my pockets, and I would be using it.
Okay.
Excuse me. Your focus is going to be on Eliza's death.
Okay.
She's pretty open about it, but the 4 majors that we get answers to:
Yeah.
age at time of death, how she died, where she's buried, and which president was a pallbearer at her funeral. So age, how, where, president.
Okay.
Those are the 4 majors. With yours, you're going to focus on the mansion. It's not here. What happened to it? And if we get the what, which will, again, it's some kind of tragedy, I'm going to give you that clue. We'll often get the date of that tragedy, at least 2 numbers out of the full date. So it's very interesting how things pop up. And yes, that thing will give you numbers as well. If they don't come there, they might go over to Amy. That's how this works. So 2.5 and higher is what you're still after. Have you seen anything since we've been here?
It just literally just popped up. I mean, just as you
44.9?
just as you said something, it's been 0 the whole time. Just you said something.
107. Holy cow.
Yes, I mean it's been at 0 every time I've looked down. I mean now it's going down. It's all over the place.
Holy cow.
Where do you want us? You just want us to spread
away
out?
from
You
that
said?
vehicle.
Okay.
I'm going to write down those numbers real quick. I was a 44.9, a 47.8, and then
Oh,
a
it's real
107.9.
Real
Yeah.
cold over here in this corner.
Oh, you're also going to try to keep the sky out of view on your
Oh,
end.
okay.
So the reason why is
I
the
mean,
blue dot defaults to the sky
it's
every
all,
time.
it's literally all over the place.
Like-
But that's kind of where it was at up until you said something.
Wow. Well, now you're just going to tell me everything over 25.
Okay.
That little blinky light doodad only goes to 25. You see why we don't use it now?
Okay.
That's off to a great start. I haven't seen numbers like that in weeks. That's pretty awesome. This is me excited, by the way. I'm not a TV show host where I'm going to start jumping up and down. The demons are here and all of that craziness.
Yeah, I'll tell you, the temperature's been changing. Wow, it's within a degree.
We are.
Yes. Now we're just stuck at zeros again.
Okay. Until I hit the button in my pocket. No, I'm kidding. I've been accused of that before in the past.
It does surprise me.
Yep. Got a lot of the heckling skeptics out here. Got it. Tell me, what have you heard since the first one? You guys looking for ghosts? I had a dollar. Not bad. Is this what you guys thought you signed up for, by the way?
Yeah,
You guys paid me to go to work?
yeah. So we're just looking for black.
Blue, like,
Blue.
see how we have like all this blue up here?
Yeah.
It's probably because it's might be just the shadowy part of that that's making it colder. But I mean, there's always going to be, with this particular space, there's gravel and dust and all kinds of different material in here, so that why it looks so different as you move through. But I'm looking for something to kind of morph. I'm looking for changes. And with the blue dot, when it bounces around, like I want it to move across the screen.
Oh,
I don't want
okay.
it to just be stuck on something. That means it's probably a can in the dirt.
Okay.
And we just couldn't see it because it was buried by dust or whatever. I've
Okay.
seen that plenty of times. How's your numbers now?
Staying low.
Yeah, natural EMF is 1.1, so that comes up off the earth anyway. That's why we go straight to 2.5.
You know, this is a big project.
Shit, right.
Will you pay attention to your piece of equipment? Can you go up?
Oh, that's cool.
Biggest mistake, don't ask me.
Okay.
I'll reveal that. But I do like the fact that you have that. I don't think I've
Yeah.
ever had that phrase before.
Okay.
Interesting.
Are you seeing stuff?
No.
No. I was telling Eliza we have a great niece named Eliza.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, Eliza Joy.
Did you get anything?
Yeah, I heard the word fire.
Oh, because the house
And
burned down?
I heard the word final girl, so I don't know what that is, but
Did the house burn down?
yeah, he said there was a fire here.
Could take a little more than this from you.
Yeah.
Tell you what, it ain't fucking warming up.
No.
So their house was this whole entire block? Okay. Okay.
This would have been the home. Right here. Carriage was over on that side.
Okay.
And then the mansion was obviously right here.
Okay.
Yeah, large home.
Yeah,
They had
I'd
money.
say so. Yeah.
Well, most of the Pinckney men were politicians.
Okay.
So governors of the state,
Yeah.
things like that. You know, we're talking before in times. There's father left her here when she was like 14, 16 years old, somewhere in that bracket, and left her to run 3 plantations.
Wow, well, that's impressive. It really is. Very
She
impressive.
has quite the story.
Yeah,
I only told you a small snippet of it.
Yeah.
I really did.
Yeah.
I've done so much research on this family, and especially her, just to
Mhm.
make sure that there's a respect factor, that I can
Okay.
speak to things. 'Cause
Very
people ask me a lot of questions.
Yeah.
Alright, I'm gonna give you about another minute on that
Okay.
thing, kind of let you listen in. And by the way, you guys can feel free to swap devices among the 4 of you. You're obviously
Okay.
all friends and close.
Yeah.
I normally just tell you people like stick it to whoever you brought with you. You're
Uh-huh.
obviously all who you brought with you.
Yes, yes.
So that kind of thing. So I'll let them know that.
Okay, sounds good. But that's like might be that rock. Yeah. Sorry, I put my hand in there and turned it. He said no people.
Terry, just so you know, with the camera, I don't always follow up with you in real time just because it's a small screen.
Yeah.
I do splice all of your little videos together per camera to make one video in
Okay.
order, and I watch them on YouTube. And then you guys have the YouTube access, so you guys can watch them on your TV if you want.
Cool.
But yeah, if I'm talking to the communicators more, that's the reason
Yeah.
why.
No,
and
I get it.
the next camera I'm going to give you, like it's pretty intense.
Oh, cool.
I do all kinds of crazy attachments to it so we can see further into the darkness and
Ooh.
that kind of thing.
All right.
But that one's fun to play with too.
Yeah.
Hey, you got anything? You got anything? Is it it's a good descriptor? It's just not a pinky hair. Yeah, that's an opinion, right? So I still like it. Alright, I would say it's probably time to wrap it up. Yeah, let's give you guys all the answers.
Okay. So did Jeremy, did he catch some? He caught
He-
some.
If that ever does that again, the password is 6.
Through the window.
You know, Nick, it gets to kill. Another picture standing behind me, short and a fucking hoodie. I just saw him. He's a young dude, and he's just walking along, and he's just staying warm. The dude just went.
Just carry something like that.
On My Wayward Son.
No, it wasn't that song.
You
I
got
thought.
Sam and Dean rolling down in here.
Teenager.
The teenager was probably the one who was kicking my ass up there.
No, he just wants your fucking coat.
Well,
Heated gloves.
I am actually, like, I got 4 layers on, and these pants are fleece lined. You've never
Ooh.
had. Oh,
Yeah, but the boys got to be swimming.
I was
Fine.
gonna say I'd
Really?
be sweating.
I was gonna say I gotta believe the
yeah, I
boys
got
probably
3 more
swimming.
of these puppies on the way. I ordered them yesterday.
Oh my gosh, that's
Yeah.
funny.
All in different colors. I gotta have them. But anyway, so teenager. This is Philadelphia Alley.
Okay.
Every ghost tour comes down here. I'll be honest with you. I don't know how many ghost tours you guys looked at
Legs.
before
I
you guys
missed
left.
legs. That was so weird. Sorry.
Where did you get legs?
So next thing I saw was window, but there was jump to legs and then right to window.
Huh.
As we
Jump
started
Yeah,
out the
half.
moving.
window and break
There
some
wasn't-
legs.
Yeah.
Wasn't
Half
no
a
mention
leg.
of ZZ Top, was there?
No. But legs is actually relevant here, and especially at the halfway point.
Really?
Yes.
Huh.
That's why I'm interested in the word half. Let's get into it.
Oh, yes, tell me.
we all come here. There's like 338 ghost tours in Charleston, I think.
Okay.
Yeah. So when I, get any of you guys standing in front of me, it's a natural wonder. But I know I'm always usually in that top 10 list of things to do because it's weird. But anyway, I was gonna take this space out of my route, but this guy was following me around through all of my locations until I recently had to reroute because I've been kicked out of somewhere else. That's a third location. Yes. I was like, well, shit. So when you heard new location, I was like. I was wondering, like, we're gonna see what else comes up with that, because this guy would follow me to our normal last stop, but I had to find a new last stop because we're not allowed in there anymore. They're rezoning the city. So I found the same ghost at a different location, and I know he haunts both spots. So every night when I leave this has only been like in the past 2 weeks that I've been going to this new location. When I leave the office, I talk to these ghosts like, hey, I'm gonna be here. I need this guy over that way, and make sure you guys are talking to me. And every night I pass through the Pinckney Mansion before I meet with you guys and rattle off all your names to Eliza, because we'll just say on more than one night I had very rude people on your end. And come on, Eliza, and then they're taking a piss in the corner. So I was getting very nasty messages coming through the spirit boxes. Like, again, not radio chatter.
Yeah.
Like, I could verify that it's not radio
like
chatter.
An actual voice.
Like, please just leave us alone going over 15 radio stations. That's not a DJ talking.
Yeah.
So I was getting those kind of messages. So every night I just walk through there and let her know how many people I'm bringing and all of your names if I know them.
Okay.
That's why I knew all of your names ahead of time. I just didn't know who the hell was who. So again, I do this shit on purpose. But anyway, back to why we're here. This used to be called Dueler's Alley. This is where some of the duels used to occur for the city of Charleston. So we all come down here because we all talk about the same damn duel. We can actually prove that it actually occurred.
Told you I'd forget.
By the way, that coachman trying to kill this guy is like having a really bad Uber driver in today's world. So normally when I have my teenagers, they don't know what the hell a coachman is, so I have to explain all this shit. But it's still a funny joke, so I tell it anyway. Moving on. Somebody was walking by and seen what was about to happen to the newcomer because he knew the coachman. He knew he was going to try to kill him. So the person walking by, his name was Ralph Isaacs. Do his initials sound familiar to anything else I've said since we've been here?
Alright.
I don't think so.
Where's the doctor from?
Rhode Island.
Rhode Island. Okay.
Right. So if we get the letters RI, which we have on spirit boxes, it usually shows up around Ralph, just so you know. Not with the Rhode Island piece. When we got it, I was like, I had to look for it. I was like, oh shit, that's how that works. Anyway, moving on. Ralph tells the doctor, hey dude, I know this guy, the coachman. He's going to try to kill you. Come with me. I got friends at 59 Church Street. They will rent you a room and you'll be safe. Well, he took him up on the offer. The two gentlemen became friends. And the longer the doctor stays here in Charleston, the more money he's making. He's proving his point. He's not after Amanda's money. He's making his own. She gets wind of this up in Rhode Island. She's moving down so they could be married. Dr. Ladd became known as the Whistling Doctor. What was it?
Ladd. His name's Ladd.
Ladd. L-A-D-D. Close. But no cigar. So anyway, the reason why I hate the story is because every haunted city you will ever visit is going to have a cliched whistling ghost. We all have one. Ours just happens to be a doctor. We're going to get into all of that whistling business in just a minute.
Oh, wait, so the ghost actually whistles?
No, the doctor used to whistle.
Oh,
Right.
okay.
But
okay, got it.
She is still correct because every ghost tour tells their guests to listen for the whistles.
Okay.
So we're going to get to that.
I'm not going to hear that.
So
over.
why are we in Dueler's Alley talking about a happy doctor? Dr. Ladd and Ralph used to go see plays together, but they couldn't sit next to each other because the doctor got better seats. That's the hierarchy of Charleston. He made more money. So on the way home, they went to go see Richard III, and they were arguing over the new actress that they just saw. Doc thought she was great. Ralph didn't. They started arguing, and then Ralph is insulting the doctor's fiancée, Amanda, back home in Rhode Island, and it got really ugly, and they went their separate ways. The next day, Ralph went to his friends at the newspaper and placed an ad in a paper telling the whole city of Charleston what he did not forgive his friend. She got the word forgive. Telling the whole city of Charleston what he thought of the doctor. Kind of a you're a disgrace to society kind of shit. Well, Doc saw this ad and rebutted with, let's go to Dueler's Alley. We're going to settle this once and for all. Somebody's going to die. All this started over an argument over an actress. I just like to point out how dumb shit was in the 1700s. Moving on.
It's just,
Still dumb.
Yeah.
it's just as dumb.
I know. But they came down here back to back, took 10 paces away from each other. They turned. Doc pointed his gun in the air and shot his one shot. He did not want to kill his friend. Willing to forgive. But Ralph still has his one bullet. He puts it in the kneecap, half leg. You guys are going with that now? On the doctor. Doc didn't die. He fell to the ground. His friends picked him up and took him home to 59 Church Street where
Did
he
they
died.
carry him? Remember, I got
Carry
carried.
on. It was.
He died 10 days later after refusing medical treatment on November 2nd of 1786. Two things about the last statement I just said. It's 1786.
Yeah.
Gunshot wounds, a lot different back then than what we know of them now. Secondly, he is a doctor. He probably just thought he had lead poisoning and tried to bleed it out himself, but he failed. Obviously because he died. Now, all the ghost tourists tell him, listen for those whistles. We're running a camera plus my voice recorder. If we're going to get a disembodied whistle, it's more than likely going to show up on one of our devices. However, I can't tell you how many times I'm going through and spot checking those spirit boxes. And keep in mind, whenever I'm spot checking, to make sure I'm not biased towards anything, I listen to minute 1, 5, 10, 15, 20, and you see my increments of time. Whatever shows up within that 1 minute of time, if anything, goes in your notes. Whistling part of a song, then the word doctor from a commercial immediately after. I have dozens of those, and then I look at the timestamp, and it's always while we're near this location.
That's pretty
Yeah,
cool.
it happens all the time. So, if you're going to try this on your own and walk all the way through here, because I can't take you all the way through, remember, this is place number 1 I've been kicked out of, and use your voice recorders. If you find a whistle, just remember that every local knows the goddamn story. So anybody walking up and down Cumberland or Queen Street, we all throw a whistle down the alley. It's just something we do here. I can't even drive past this alley without throwing a whistle. It's just something we do. My wife laughed at me last week. I brought her down here for something we were doing, and I whistled when we drove by, and she's like, you have to do it every time. I'm like, look, I bring you down here like once a year. So anyway, here, let's get into how I got kicked out of here, because this is kind of the fun part. The alley didn't go all the way through the way we came in. There used to be a wall up there, about halfway between us and Cumberland Street. That's the reason why I like to stop here right at the gate, because yes, I've done the measurements. Anyway, that was creepy as hell. Demon! No.
Where's your electric thing?
Oh, by the way, you're looking for 8 and above, because we have the lamppost near, so if anything
Okay.
shows up 8 or above. But anyway, the reason about the wall was because this was called Cow Alley before it was Dueler's Alley. We're going further back in time. This is where they kept the livestock, cows, goats, and chickens.
Cow alley.
Yeah. So the reason why I'm telling you that is because down at the other side is where they started building this alley, and over a couple of 100 years is what we're standing on now. Those bricks are obviously older, and they are sun-dried bricks from slave children. There's a full
Okay.
handprint from a slave child down there. I used to take my people down there to show it off and see how far we've come away from slavery as a history lesson. Nothing paranormal about that damn brick with the handprint in it. That kid is not staring at that brick in the afterlife. You already know how I feel about cemeteries. November 26, 2020, my entire group of 10 stopped, and they huddled around the damn brick waiting for something to happen. I know nothing's gonna happen. I'm trying to shoo them along because we're also standing outside the dining room window of the beautiful mansion at the end of the alley. I'm trying to just be respectful, not realizing we were out of bounds. I was still new at tours down here in Charleston. The new owner of that mansion came out screaming, and my daughter was on the tour that night. She was about 14 at the time, and she thought it was hysterical that her dad was getting yelled at right in front of her. She was all about it.
Free entertainment there.
Yeah.
You let him have it, dude.
Yeah, that's pretty much what she did. She still gets me shit about it. Anyway, we moved on. The next day was Thanksgiving. I don't tour on holidays because I worked in upper management for Walmart, and before I started doing this, you guys fight over towels on Thanksgiving and you scarred me for life. I don't work on holidays ever again. The next day was the 28th of November. I got a hold of my partner that brought me into tourism. I don't work with him anymore. But anyway, he's laughing at me, and because he already got the complaint from the city. He probably called it in, which is fine. I was in the wrong. But anyway, he says, dude, you're only allowed to go down halfway. Figure it out, and he hung up the phone. I'm like, oh shit. So what I told my team that night, it's Black Friday. I'm sold out again. I don't believe in the next story because I've never had anything happen over there. I'm into vampires, not pirates. I would normally tell you a pirate story next, but I've been kicked out of there too. Yes,
gosh.
I know. We're not allowed in that space anymore. But if I tell you we're going to be discussing pirates, who's the first pirate you think of?
Jack Sparrow.
That's not fictional.
Blackbeard.
Blackbeard,
I
yeah.
had probably the best answer the other night.
Long John.
Long
John
John
Silver.
Go one better than that. Little Indian guy. He was elderly, and he's just like, Captain Morgan? I'm like, oh! Yeah. But anyway,
Captain
I'm all about
Morgan.
the captain. But anyway, Blackbeard is the correct answer of what you would normally think of as we're going to go discuss pirates in Charleston. No. Somebody heard the name Anne on a spirit box before we left. I didn't tell them it was going to be Anne Bonny.
Yeah.
I was like, oh shit, maybe we will get something. We go around the corner. I told them what I did know about pirates in Charleston, which wasn't much, by the way, because I only had a few hours to do some quick reading. And somebody else heard the number 300 on a different spirit box. I have no idea what it meant. I wrote it down. I did the research. We were there November 28th of 2020. Anne Bonny's trial for piracy was November 28th of 1720. We were there on the exact 300th anniversary of her pirate. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
I was actually kind of pissed off. Let me explain. I have several degrees in writing, master's in creative, bachelor's in journalism, bachelor's in English. You guys get the point. I like research. Whenever I'm researching anything, especially paranormal stuff, I need facts and data. Pirate stories are not facts and data. The problem with that is that there are stories that they stem from pirate lore, but that lore was written 100 years after the golden age of piracy of the days of Blackbeard and Anne Bonny. So anytime somebody heard something, I had to read like 5 textbooks to like verify it or disprove it kind of mentality. I had this great elaborate story that I told for years, obviously. And at one year, because I do change this all the time from year to year, it was my grand finale because it was turned into such a big spectacle. But we can't go over there anymore. That's okay, because we're going to be ending this one anyway. We're going to get you a new camera. So what we're going to be doing, you were focused on me. That's perfectly fine. What do you have?